and welcome to the University of Glasgow Postgraduate Q&A. We are delighted that you can join us today from wherever you are in the UK or further afield around the world. My name is Jonathan, and I'm responsible for admissions and widening access and UK recruitment in the university. And I'm joined by colleagues today from International Recruitment, the Student Representative Council, and also the university's Advice Centre. So over the next hour, we will be hoping to give you some answers to the most frequently asked questions from our postgraduate community. But before we do that, I will let my fellow colleagues, panel members today, introduce themselves. So over to you guys.
Thanks, Jonathan. Hi, everyone. My name's Shona, and I'm one of the international recruitment managers here at the University of Glasgow. So here to take any questions that you might have about joining us here at Team UofG.
Thanks, Shona.
And hi there, my name is Paul. I'm an advisor at the SRC Advice Centre. We offer free confidential advice in a range of subjects, such as housing, money or consumer issues, various other things like employment rights, and we also help with university regulations, such as appeals, complaints and conduct matters.
Fantastic, thanks Paul. Last but not least.
My name is Mark Key, and I'm the Senior Support Services Administrator at the Student Representative Council. So I do a range of different tasks. I'm one of the permanent staff members there, helping to support our student-led organisation, who is there for all of you future students. And I'm also the person that looks after the Gilchrist Postgraduate Club, which is a space dedicated just to postgraduate students.
Super. So whether you are an applicant or thinking about applying, or whether you are an offer holder for hopefully this September 2021, the next hour will hopefully tell you everything you need to know about some of the most frequently asked questions that we have. So we'll kickstart off with the first one, which I'll come to Paul on. So what kind of accommodation is available in Glasgow?
Hi there. So there's two basic types of accommodation that you might be interested in. That's student halls and private tenancies. Student halls are large buildings run either by the university or private companies. They're both quite similar in how they operate. The university has 4 specific postgraduate halls. There's around about 7 for undergraduate students. And when I last counted, there's around about 28 private student halls in Glasgow run by different organisations. Just to say the benefits of moving into a student hall is that the type and quality is quite predictable, and basically you get what you're advertised. You'll also be living around lots of other students in similar situations, new to the city. You won't have to find flatmates, and bills will be inclusive in your rent. The negatives about that maybe though are that you generally can't end the contract early. You're maybe stuck in for a year, and it can also be quite expensive compared to private tenancies. And moving to private tenancies, that's basically a private apartment. We call them flats here in Glasgow, and you'd rent directly from a landlord or letting agent. These can be cheaper, but the problems with those are that you have to maybe find flatmates, and you also, if you're not in Glasgow, it might be difficult to know what you're getting yourself into without actually visiting the property. So that's, I think, where we come in the Advice Centre. We can offer a lot of guidance and support, basically helping you advise on avoiding scams and what your rights are when it comes to that. I think the link at the bottom of the screen is just basically giving you a link to our page on accommodation, and from that link, basically you'll find a large number of different pages and booklets summarising everything I've said there.
That's fantastic, Paul. Really comprehensive answer. Thank you for that. And how easy is it to find private accommodation in particular before you actually come to Glasgow?
So it tends to be that if you're not in Glasgow, a better option might be to go to one of the student halls. That's either the university run ones or the private ones, because you're not subject to maybe scams or anything like that. The university halls, they can go quite quickly, so it's best, if you're interested in that, to contact the accommodation service as soon as possible. Private halls, again, there's so many of them in Glasgow, the numbers, there's not just as much competition, but if you're interested in a specific one in a specific area, it's better to get in sooner rather than later. And in private properties, that can be a lot more difficult, actually, not just avoiding scams, but finding something suitable both in the cost and location. The other thing is you might have to, if you're interested in a private tenancy, to get it when you want it, that might not be possible to, say, move in, to wait till the start of term. You might have to start a contract earlier and therefore pay for rent earlier than you expected to ensure that you get the property you want, because a landlord wouldn't typically say, okay, we'll hold the property for 2 months before you actually come here. We've also got on our page, see the link there, basically a fearless flat hunting website. I do have a booklet. I'm just looking for it. Oh, here it is here. You'll be able to download that on our website. And it goes into a lot of real details about where to look and how to look and what to keep in mind.
That's great. So, and that information and advice is available for prospective students before they arrive. So you guys are available to support them through that.
Of course, yeah. So if any questions, even if you're a prospective student, just please email the Advice Centre. Our website, you'll find the contact details on that accommodation page.
Great. So another question that we know many of you will have is obviously if you're coming to study for a postgraduate taught degree, so a master's, quite a lot of you will be thinking about also working whilst you study. So Shona, how feasible is it to work part-time whilst you're studying for what is quite an intense kind of 12-month period for your PGT program?
Yeah, so for lots of our students, whether they're domestic students, international students, many of them rely on having a part-time job to be able to support their studies when they're here, and it's also a really great way to meet other people outside of the classroom and from the local area. From an international student perspective, your visa will usually allow you to work for up to 20 hours a week, although we generally would advise you to sort of look at something a little bit lower, usually anything between 6 to 10 hours per week. You said, as you said, Jonathan, your master's course should be thought of as the equivalent of a full-time job, and it's not always obvious that that's the case when you look at your timetable, because you perhaps have 12 to 16 hours of scheduled classes, but you're expected, and in order to progress and to keep up with the work that's going on, you should be making up the rest of that through your own sort of research and reading. But yeah, absolutely possible, and something that we would actually encourage students to do in terms of meeting other people and sort of seeing a little bit more of Glasgow itself.
And Paul, if people wanted some help and support, being able to find some of that part-time work, can we help as a university?
Yeah, well, the university has a career service. If you just go into, I'm sorry I don't have the link here, if you go into the university website, type in career service, they'll come up. They have a number of really helpful pages about how to look for work, where to look, help with CVs and things like that. So, and you can make appointments with the career service as well. The Advice Centre, we can help with basically explaining your employment rights. If you have a problem with a job, certainly you can contact us and we can advise and talk through basically what options and solutions you've got.
And I'll come to you again, Shona, for the next one. So quite often postgraduate taught and postgraduate research students have family, and obviously for understandable reasons want to bring them with them when they come to do their study or their research PhD. So what support is available for incoming students with families?
Yeah, so as you say, a lot of our postgraduate students do come with their dependents and or their family, and there's a couple of things that we would probably just want to highlight. So first of all, our visa team can actually help in terms of additional visas for the dependents and children, but also we have a really fantastic international family network, which is designed for sort of connecting other students in the same position. So there's lots of activities and support that run not just for the students themselves, but for their spouses, their dependents, their children, and that can include some sort of, I guess, quite formal activities. So there's help in terms of working out what schools children might attend, how to register, finding the right accommodation. We do have dedicated family accommodation within the university, if you wanted to explore other accommodation opportunities. And they also run a number of social events as well, where you can go along with your children, with your family, and meet others who are in the same position. So we would really encourage you, if you are bringing your family, to get involved. And again, we've got the details running along the bottom there for you.
That's great. And obviously another area that we are often asked about in terms of support is English language. So we have a very diverse international community across the university. And obviously usually there are English language requirements for incoming students. But even then, when you hit the reality of learning, studying in a language that isn't native to you, and particularly on research programs, it can be quite tricky. So is there additional English language support once you arrive and are studying at the university?
Yeah, so we offer in what we call in-sessional English. So that's additional English language support for international students where English is not their first language. And that can be, some of it is credit bearing and some of it is non-credit bearing as well. So it's optional for you to do so. We also have, through our Learning Enhancement and Academic Service, a number of other courses and workshops that students can get involved with, which these are not just open to international students, but they focus on things like academic writing skills. So although you might be quite comfortable with your English language in terms of your reading and your writing, sometimes actually when you're trying to interpret academic questions and structured essays, that additional support is available just to help you make the most out of the skills that you've got, and to build upon them, to make sure that you're able to articulate what you want to say in your essays and your reports in the best way possible.
That's great. So yeah, lots of support. So don't be shy, I think, is the motto of that, to reach out and get that support when you are here in Glasgow. And the next question I'll come to Paul on. So obviously quite a lot of our student community are moving to a new country, which can be quite daunting. So there's obviously a lot of support and help that we try and provide before our students arrive. But what about when they get here and settling in? What support can the Advice Centre provide?
Yeah, I mean, well, I mentioned before, we really help with everything and anything when it comes to practicalities of living here. So it can be everything from sort of consumer issues to housing, employment issues. It's totally, moving to a new country is totally normal to feel unsettled. So the university also has created some really good pages, basically, in their international support team page. In the last link, it mentioned the international page. So if you have a look there under support and student life and well-being, there's a lot of practical tips basically about living here, as well as our pages on the Advice Centre. The other things I was thinking is, don't feel bad about reaching out for help. We are all here to help you, and there is a lot of support out there. So again, that's the practicalities, but also things like the counselling service and the disability service that university offer. If you're unsure about where to go, I think the first two organisations to contact is either as an Advice Centre or the International Student Support Service, and we can just talk through basically what your concerns are, and then pinpoint, okay, well, who would be best for you to speak to, and how can we resolve these issues? And again, the sooner the better you contact us. Don't worry about it. Just reach out, and we're there for you.
That's great. And Shona, what would your advice be on that one if new students arriving are feeling a bit unsettled?
I think similar to Paul, my advice is just to ask. While there's, I guess, very structured, dedicated teams through the likes of the SRC and student support teams, feel free to reach out to your academic advisor, to your lecturers. If you're living in university accommodation, we've got dedicated residence life teams who are there to support you outside of the classroom. And it doesn't always have to be something super serious. don't spend your first couple of weeks looking lost around campus. Ask somebody if you can't find the building that you're looking for, or if you're in accommodation and you don't know how to work the laundry, ask one of the residence life team and they'll help you with some of those smaller practical things as well. So I think everyone has sort of been new to the university, whether that's from a staff or student perspective, and everyone's here to help you to settle in. So yeah, just ask is the sort of motto.
And obviously, coming to university, it's not all about learning, teaching, research. As much as important as that is, it's also a fantastic opportunity for you to explore new interests, meet new people from across the UK and the rest of the world. So Marky, in terms of clubs and societies for postgraduate students, can you tell us a little bit more about what's available?
Yeah, so really all clubs and societies are open to all postgraduate students. In order to be affiliated with us as a club at the SRC, we make sure that they're open to everybody that is a student. So you can be assured that if you see a club that you want to join and it's one of our affiliated clubs, that you're more than welcome to join it as a postgraduate student as well. And you can see the link just below. It has a list of all the clubs that we have that are affiliated with us, and you can just do a search. You can do it alphabetically, or you can just do a search by theme as well. And as you can see in the little tag there, we do have over 300 clubs at the moment. It's everything you can think of. There are some that are a bit more tailored maybe to research stuff. So we do have a PhD society that's been active for a number of years. We do have a number of international societies as well. And I mean, every year I get so delighted because we get new clubs that come through and all the different interests and specialities that people have. It's just look, you'd be amazed, and you can probably find something new that you'd never think that you would want to do, that you can learn about. Or if you don't see something that you like, it's also very easy to start a club with us. And if you go to our website there, you can see all the details for that too.
Yeah, that's fantastic. There is such a wide, diverse range of clubs and societies, and it changes every year. And as Marky said, if there isn't one for your particular interest, then start it yourself and give it a go. So it's a fantastic way to meet people out with your class group. So as I said, it's a really diverse community here at Glasgow. So it's a fantastic opportunity to try new things and meet new people. And in terms of facilities, obviously we do have dedicated facilities for postgraduate students in the library and study spaces, etc. But what about those sort of social facilities and places to meet and get to know each other and unwind after a day on campus? What do we have available for postgraduates?
Well, yes, as you said, Jonathan, there's a lot of little nooks and crannies all throughout the university that might be within your department or what you're studying. So it's always worth asking to see what you have available to you. But the one place that is for all postgraduates at the university is the Gilchrist Postgraduate Club. You are automatically a member as soon as that you're a postgraduate student here. We do keep it open access some of the year. So if you are coming to visit, you can probably get in, but we usually do close it. So it's a little private club. And the nice thing with it is there's a seminar room, which is called the UofG, that is available for postgraduates to book out for free. So if you wanted to hold a seminar or a meeting or anything like that, you can approach us. Also, I run a lot of the events in there, but I don't like to run them as me. I want this to be a very student-led space, and I want it to feel like yours. So I definitely encourage you to send a message to the Gilchrist if there's an event you want to see or you want to lead or something you want to be part of. It is very much a space where we support you as a postgraduate community to put on the kinds of events that you want to see as well. And in addition to that, it's a cafe and bar space, so you can come in and get what I've heard is the best coffee on campus, and we haven't had anybody to say contrary yet. And you can see all the information below me there to find out more information about it. It's central on campus. It's very easy to get to. And there's food there as well. We try to have specialty food in there that you won't get anywhere on campus. So it's nice and exclusive in that way. And there are study booths. Obviously, I do have to say at the moment, some of this has changed just in lines with restrictions and whatnot, but we do aim to have it as open as we can at any point during all of this. And we do run live events in there as well in the evenings for people to watch when we're able.
Thanks, Marky. It really is a hub for our postgraduate community on campus and in the main building. So you're in a great location right in the heart of campus. And I would agree on the coffee. It is the best on campus.
Good.
You heard it here, folks. Big plug. So we're hopefully starting to address some of those maybe concerns, questions, anxieties that our new postgrad community may have. But one of them is also how easy it is to make friends. We've touched on a few examples, how you can connect with the community, your classmates and through clubs and societies. But what's your view on that, Marky, when you hear that concern?
Yeah, so I mean, making friends, that's different for every person, isn't it? I can't sit here and make you promises, but I can only speak from my own experience as somebody who studied at this university a while ago. And I was an international student. I didn't know anybody, and I was on a research degree as well. And those are all some of the hardest components to be able to go out and make friends. When you're a research student, you are there on your own. So what I did is I just tried to involve myself as much as possible and do a lot of the things that we've touched on already, whether that is joining a club, whether that is going along to extra seminars during your sessions, especially if you don't have a class to go to, you might not be meeting people as easy. Trying to find people from Scotland as well and engage with the culture and the amazing people that live here in the city of Glasgow. You can also do things, as we've mentioned, try to get part-time work or even volunteering as well. We run a volunteering service called GU Volunteering. You can probably see some of the banners there behind me. If you just want to find ways to engage with the community and you're maybe a bit more shy, to just go into a club and start talking to people. Like a service we run, for example, is a GUSH, which is Glasgow Service to the Homeless. So it's small groups of people going together and giving out tea and cakes to homeless people in Glasgow. And that means you're with a small team of people and you'll get a chance to talk. So it's just trying to find these ways. For example, in the Gilchrist as well, we run a pub quiz where we put people in teams. So that's another way that you're kind of forced, I guess, or structured in a way to talk to other people that you might not be getting through your degree. So I would just recommend just join as many things as you can, do as much as you can, and hopefully you'll find those people that you can call your friends.
Fantastic. And I would also say that actually Glasgow is a very friendly city. So even if you wanted to extend your friend networks out with the student community, there are lots of amazing arts, cultural, sporting venues, lots of things you can do and get to know people from across Scotland. Glasgow is a hub and it's a very social, friendly, dynamic place. So you're not reliant on campus for your friends and your social life. So I'm going to give the panel a little bit of a break, and I'm actually going to ask and answer a question myself. So obviously we're all staff here at the university, and some of you may be thinking, well, that's all well and good. You're all being paid to say these things, and I really want to hear some of the experience from your students, people who are currently studying at the university in the city of Glasgow. So can you do that? And the answer is absolutely. We want you to. We want you to be able to research and connect and chat freely with people who are in the place that you hope to be in not too many months' time. So across the website, you will, when you're browsing, you will find, and actually one page to recommend is the postgraduate landing page, which is just the university web address /postgraduate. And in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see a little pink speech bubble. And that is an opportunity for you to connect with actually a staff member or a student, and you can ask those students anything you like. You can also go and browse all of our Unibuddies, as we call them, via the web link that is scrolling across the bottom of the screen just now. So ask a student after the university web address, and you can ask them anything you like. Some of them may be from the country you're from. They may be studying the program you want to study. So just have a browse, take a look, and just reach out and connect. And it's all impartial and completely flexible for you to ask whatever you want when you want. So please take advantage of that opportunity, because it's fantastic to chat to our current students. So I'm on a roll, so I'm going to carry on with the next question. So when do applications open for Masters in 2022? So the plan is 1st of October of this year, 1st of October 2021, is when you can start applying to the University of Glasgow for a postgraduate taught programme to commence in September 2022. And you can do all of that online, as you would expect. So when you're browsing the programs, the different taught masters options available, you will see all the information you need to see around entry requirements, fees, funding, deposit requirements, and also how to apply. And you can apply direct from that relevant page, and there's advice along the way to take you through it. So you just use the online application form, and that's for both postgraduate taught and postgraduate research programs. And once you have applied, then you will get access to our applicant self-service portal, where you can see the details of your application, any communications that we send to you, anything we are asking for in terms of additional documents to enable us to review your application and make a decision, and also opportunities to comment and ask us things yourself. So that will certainly be relatively straightforward. So you can just follow that how to apply and apply link from the program pages to submit your application. If you have applied to commence study this September, so September 21, then you should already be sitting with either a conditional or unconditional offer. There is still time to apply if you haven't yet, but time is running out, so please submit your application if you still intend to do so. Depending on whether you are unconditional or not, and you have accepted that, so if you are an unconditional offer holder from outside of the UK, and your next step is to receive your Certificate of Acceptance to Study, your CAS, so you can apply for your visa. We will start issuing those CAS from next Tuesday, the 22nd of June. We are running slightly late due to a record number of applications. We had hoped to start that this week, but it is now from the 22nd of June, so next week. So don't worry if you don't get it bang on next Tuesday. We will be issuing them every day and working through everyone who has accepted an unconditional offer for postgraduate study with us from then on in. And if you are conditional at the moment and you meet the conditions by uploading your degree transcript, for example, on applicant self-service, then you will become unconditional, providing you meet the conditions of your offer. So which, once you have accepted, we will issue your CAS within 5 to 10 working days from that point. So all also described and clear on the website. So you can go to the postgraduate page that I mentioned earlier. There's a section there for offer holders. It will tell you about what to do next and what happens, and just guide you through that process. But hopefully that has helped a little bit. And then the last question that I will be answering myself for a little while is, can I apply for more than one program? Yes, you can, certainly. A lot of applicants do apply for more than one program. I will highlight that there is an application fee for every program you apply to, which is £25. And you can only apply to that program once per academic year. So if you apply for a program and we're not able to make you an offer, you cannot reapply. You can always reapply the following year, but not in the same year. But certainly when you are considering, and you might have 2 or 3 courses that your programs that you are interested in applying for, then feel free to submit an application for each one of them, and we'll consider each one in turn. And you may have 1 offer out of the 3, or you may have 3 offers out of the 3. So it depends on what you're applying for and the qualifications that you bring. So I will take a break and I will hand over to Shona to tell us a little bit about program deposits. Which programs require a deposit to be paid as part of the application process?
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan. So not all of our programs require a deposit to secure your place. So if your program requires a deposit, then it will actually state it clearly on your offer letter, or you can check on the website. There is actually a page, we'll pop the link in the chat for you shortly, that actually lists the programs that require a deposit as well. If it doesn't say that it needs a deposit, then you don't have to pay one, so you can just accept your application through the online portal, and that will secure your place for joining us in September. Jonathan, just to pick up slightly on the application fee, so it's a little bit like with the deposits, not all programmes require an application fee, so it's some of our high demand programmes require an application fee through things like some of the business school programmes and some of our data related programmes, but not all of them do. So again, it will state on each programme page and when you're actually making your application if that's needed. If you're a sponsored student or if you're applying for a full scholarship, then you can be exempt from that application fee as well. And again, feel free to get in touch with your sponsor in particular if that's something that you're looking at as well.
Fantastic. Thanks for that clarification, Shona. There's so much to mention, but really appreciate you being my wing woman there. Thank you. So can I study part-time is another frequently asked question that we get. And whilst most of our postgraduate students do study full-time, and certainly for international students, you have to study full-time to meet the conditions of your visa. For UK students, some programs do offer that ability to study part-time. As I mentioned, and as Joan has mentioned, there's so much information on each individual program page. So it will tell you on there whether you can study that postgraduate taught program over 12 months or 24 months. If it's available for 24 months, then that means you can study part-time, basically spreading out that 12-month master's program out over 2 years. So it is possible if it's listed on the website as having 24 months available as a duration of study, then yes, you can consider that alongside full-time study if that gives you a bit more flexibility to suit your circumstances. Moving on to postgraduate research and back to Shona, I want to apply for a PhD. And so what would be the process that we would recommend in terms of applicants thinking about the step-by-step process we would ideally like them to follow? Obviously, a particular question that people want to know is can they contact a supervisor in advance?
Yes, I can see there's actually quite a lot of questions coming through on that as well. So applying for a PhD is a little different to applying for a bachelor's or a master's programme. There's not a sort of programme that you directly apply for. So what we recommend you do first of all is you use our Find a Supervisor tool, where you would type in a couple of keywords related to the proposal, the research that you wanted to do. So say, for example, you wanted to do a PhD related to robotics. You could type in a couple of keywords around robotics and it would give you some suggested supervisors who are active in research in a similar or related area. You should then contact those supervisors, get in touch with a short proposal. So we don't expect you to have a fully drafted, complete sort of research proposal, but you must have an idea of what you want to research. You know, we need to know a little bit more about what you want to research, you know, the sort of topic you wish to undertake. The supervisor should then be able to have a look at the proposal that you've sent through and let you know whether or not that's something that they could supervise, whether it's in the field that they're covering, whether they've got capacity to take on more PhD students, and if they're not directly able to help you, then they should be able to help direct you to somebody elsewhere in the university who would be able to support you with that. Once you've identified a potential supervisor and you've had some conversations with them around your proposal, they've confirmed that they can supervise that proposal, they've helped you perhaps refine that proposal a little bit more. At that point, you would then make a formal application through the online portal. You will have to, as part of that application, state the name of the supervisor that's been identified. So you use the Find a Supervisor tool first, and then then make the formal application afterwards as well. So a little bit different compared to postgraduate masters. And as I say, the key thing there is you must have, as I say, at least 1 or 2 pages that outlines what your proposed research is before you're able to sort of really make that application.
Fantastic, thanks very much. I can see a few queries that hopefully that has provided a bit more information about. Another frequently asked question, and some ones coming up, are around scholarships and funding opportunities. So certainly there are quite a range of funding opportunities available for postgraduate taught and postgraduate research. So I would really recommend you use the scholarships database that's on the website. So there's the university web address with /scholarships at the end. And you can put in information about whether you are a current applicant and where you are from and what level of study you're looking to do, and it will populate a whole list of different scholarships and funding sources that are available for you to consider and see if you are eligible for them, and in some cases apply for. So certainly definitely have a look at the scholarships database. If for research students, then I'd also recommend you look at the relevant graduate school webpage. So every college of the 4 colleges that we have here at the University of Glasgow has a graduate school, and quite often they will publish funding information that are available for research programs in their area of expertise. So it's worthwhile having a look at that as well for some funding support. Paul, I'm going to come to you next. We've touched on this a little bit already, but one of the questions we do get asked quite a lot about is people not knowing a lot about Glasgow, and is it a friendly city? How easy is it to explore and make friends? So what else can you tell us about things to do in and around Glasgow?
Yeah, well, it certainly is a friendly city. A couple of years ago, we had friends visiting from Germany, and they just noticed a real difference in the way people act to strangers here. They used to stand at street signs and pretend that they didn't know which way to go, and people would randomly just come up to them and say, "Oh, it's that way," or something like that. It's maybe not the best evidence, but it's certainly a lot of people tell us that that's what it's like. I mean, Glasgow is filled with so many things. The campus round about here in the West End, it's filled with a large number of really nice parks and large museums. I think a lot of the museum just now, they are open, but you have to book in advance. So if you go into the museum's website page, you'll be able to basically find a spot. But each year as well, the SRC, we create a document called the Guide, and I think there's maybe a link that they're going to put up at the bottom of the screen for last year's guide. I don't know if the admin team there can put that up. If not, if you just go into glasgowstudent.net and type in the guide, you'll find last year's copy. It's a large collection of lots of practical tips and also places where to go. Discusses different areas of Glasgow, what to see, how to get around. Glasgow has a small underground rail that goes. It's quite small. It's maybe kind of rather comical, but it basically takes you to anywhere right about the city centre. But it's also a really good place to just walk around and explore by foot. The other thing is, contact the SRC. We commonly get inquiries of this type. And we also do campus tours. So if you go into glasgowstudent.net and type in campus tours, you can arrange a tour around the campus.
Fantastic. And I can certainly confirm that there is a lot to do in Glasgow. It might not be a massive city. It's the largest in Scotland, however, so it is the home to much of Scotland's cultural and sporting organisations, and it's the 3rd or 4th biggest in the UK, depending how you measure it. So it's compact, but there's lots of things to do. And then obviously you're not too far away from some amazing countryside. So Loch Lomond and Stirling and Trossachs and all that sort of area. National parks galore. So plenty of things to see and do whilst you're here. I see some questions coming in the comments too. So this is probably one of the hot topics that we'll cover off next, which is what's going to be happening in terms of learning and teaching delivery come September. So if you have an offer for September and you're wondering how we will be teaching you, will your classes be online or in person? The quickest answer to that question at the moment is they will be both. The exact mix we can't really confirm at the moment, but it will be in line with Scottish Government guidelines, and that's what we adhere to. So over the last few months, we've been able to introduce a few more on-campus learning opportunities, and we certainly hope that that trajectory will continue, and there will be a larger, more significant range of opportunities for on-campus learning and teaching for next academic year. But of course, it's all dependent on how things progress here in the UK with coronavirus. And for the latest information in terms of learning and teaching delivery, the landing page I mentioned earlier, the postgraduate landing page, you'll see a grey strip across the top of the web page, which is the latest information on there, which has a summary of what we are planning for learning and teaching wise, and any other sort of key points that we need to keep you alert to as we adapt and evolve our offering to make sure that learning and teaching is safe on campus. But certainly, I think everyone hopes that we are moving in the right direction, and we'll be able to offer more learning and teaching face-to-face than we have been able to over the last academic year. So I'm afraid that's as much reassurance as I can give you right now, but please keep in touch and keep looking back at the website for further updates. Talking of updates, and again, also questions that we're getting quite a lot of. If you have applied from a country that is currently in the UK red list, can you still travel to come study in Glasgow? So Shona, can you update us on the current position there, please?
Yeah, hi. Just to confirm, actually, the red list does allow students to travel to the UK. So although travel is heavily restricted, having an offer, having a CAS and a visa to come and study in the UK is one of the reasons that you will be allowed to travel, even if your country is on the red or the amber list. Now, there are obviously restrictions that are in place around that. With the amber list countries, you would be self-isolating for 10 days in your accommodation. And for those of you on red list countries, you are required to undertake a more formal quarantine period in a government sort of mandated hotel close to the airport. I'm really excited to confirm sort of hot off the press today. So we just have official confirmation that the university will be able to cover those costs for current applicants and returning students for those current red list countries. So that is literally just confirmed about 10-15 minutes before we came live on the session today. So we will be able to confirm more formally with offer holders the processes around that over the next couple of weeks as we finalise those details. But hopefully for those of you that are travelling from red list countries, that's one less thing for you to worry about in terms of that additional cost. So that cost will be covered for those of you who have currently applied for September 2021 and for returning students also on those red list countries. The other thing I just wanted to highlight, also confirmed a couple of days ago, is the Scottish Government has also confirmed that international students will be eligible for the vaccine here in the UK when they arrive here in Scotland. So if you've had one of your vaccines or if you've not had any, you will be able to get the vaccine here in Scotland once you've registered with a GP, an NHS GP here in Scotland. So again, some really fantastic news coming from the Scottish Government to make sure that those of you who are arriving here in Scotland are in the best position possible to be sort of safe and well. So again, all of that information is on the website, but two really positive pieces of news that have been confirmed just in the last few days.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Shona. So delighted to be able to share that. Literally, the people watching this are the first to hear that bit of news. Great news, and we will definitely be obviously getting back in touch with everyone just to provide more details in terms of how that will work. So we're still figuring that bit out, but it's great to have that commitment. So. Probably slightly different approach for the panel now. So I'll just ask them all individually just to think about what their top tips would be for everyone that's watching in terms of making the most of their time in Glasgow. So we haven't agreed an order for this one, so I'll just I'll come to Marky first, maybe, if that's okay. In terms of what would your top tips be for people?
Yeah, so again, I can only speak from my own experience from doing a degree, and obviously your degree is very important. I'm not trying to say that at all, but so much of it, when you've done your degree and you finish and you're out in the world, so much of it is about the experience that you had while you were there as well, and that's part of what you take with you. So I would just really encourage you to think outside of your degree as well, although prioritize it, and just try to immerse yourself as much as you can, especially if you're coming as an international student and you've never been to this country before. Just trying to take all of that in, or even if you are from here, and experiencing it, and the friends that you can meet and the connections you can make. So just all the things that we've talked about today, I would just say go out there and try a club, try some volunteering, just sign up for these things and see what happens. And if you don't like it, you don't have to, but at least you get to take that experience with you as you carry on past university.
Thanks, Marky. Paul?
Yeah, maybe just repeat what I said earlier. Don't ever be afraid to ask for help if you're struggling. The university has a lot of support available for all sorts of situations. There's us at the Advice Centre, there's the International Student Support Team, Counselling Service, Disability Service, the Lead Service that was touched on earlier as well for improving academic skills. We're all here to help. Just reach out. No one's going to sort of think badly of you. They do want to help you get the best out of your degree and your best out of the time staying here.
And Shona?
Yeah, I think the one that I was thinking of relates to employment opportunities, actually, post-graduation. So I would really encourage students to reach out to the careers team early on. I think sometimes it's tempting to leave it until the end of your degree. It's, you're thinking about your exams and your coursework, so you think, oh, I know I need to think about looking for a job, and you can leave that towards the end. But it's really important to engage with the careers team right from the start. Take advantage of the networking events that are running, attend the job fairs that are planned, go to the workshops around doing well in assessment centres and things, and really make that part of your sort of degree almost throughout, to give yourself the best opportunity post-graduation to get the job that you want. And I think particularly with the new rules changing around post-study work rules for international students being able to stay in the UK for up to 2 years after they graduate, that it's just super important to think about it right from the start, to give yourself the best opportunities possible.
Thanks, Shona. And I can see a question there around that sort of graduate route being confirmed. So there was just asking, has it been confirmed that that will be available for up to 2 years post-studies? So that is the case.
Yes, it is. So the rules changed from students who joined us in September 2020 or who are due to graduate from 2021. So that might have been if you've started your bachelor's a couple of years ago, or those of you who joined us from a master's programme, excuse me, from last year. So the rules have now changed. We're really pleased again that the sort of UK government decision around that has opened up to allow those of you who want to stay in the UK for up to 2 years after graduation to be able to do so. And again, our visa team here in the UK can help you in terms of making that transition over to the post the graduate immigration route plan. I keep wanting to call it post-study work because that's what it used to be called, but it's the graduate immigration route.
Thanks. Yeah, it's difficult to keep up with name changes and different regulations. So I'm going to go slightly off script here because we have a few more minutes left, and just looking at the comments that are getting posted in the chat. So I'll ask my panel members to have a wee browse and see if there's any that they feel they can add anything to. But I can see some people asking how they get in contact with us. So there will be on the top of the website, there's an option to connect. And if you click on that, it will tell you various ways you can contact us. There is an inquiry form you can submit if it's relating to your application or admission to the university. And there's also all the various social media channels that you can follow, the UofG Facebook and YouTube and various Twitter and various other social media channels. So you can always connect and follow and keep up to date with what's happening here in the community and what our academics and researchers are doing to help drive forward a global change. Just having another quick look through some of the questions. Can I apply for part-time jobs on campus before arriving in Glasgow? Certainly you can apply for part-time jobs, but quite often you would need to be in the UK before anything can be confirmed. And Paul, I'm not sure if there's anything you can add on sort of that application process if people wanted to try and get ahead of the game.
It might relate to the visa. You would, if you're depending on which country you're coming from, even if it's the EU, there certainly might be a visa implication there. With visas, we would always recommend people speak to the International Student Support Team. But there's certainly no harm in contact. If you see a job, contacted them, and they'll certainly they would look into and they would let you know if this is a possibility. But it might if your visa's still getting processed, they might have to wait till that gets finalised before they can make any formal offer.
Fantastic. And some other questions coming up around English language requirements. So quite often these will be a condition of your application. It will detail in your offer what is needed to meet that requirement. And there is more information on the website. Just put English language requirements into the search box and it will tell you comparable scores across different types of tests that we will accept. So that is a condition of entry. So you will need to meet that to become an unconditional offer holder and progress in your application to Glasgow. Was there anything, Marky, that you wanted to mention in relation to some of the questions that are popping up?
Yes, I noticed somebody was asking if there's any resources for finding flatmates for private accommodation, and we actually have a flat share service that you can access on our website. I don't know if our website is handy for anybody to post in the chats or down on my screen here, but that's glasgowstudent.net, and you'll see under services there's a flat share option. What that is, it's current students can post and say that they're looking for flatmates, so it's a really good way to find fellow flatmates that are students. So if you are an incoming student, you can find flatmates via that, and that's usually for a private accommodation that you can find people to live with.
Fantastic, thank you. Shona, have you spotted any questions that we can support?
Yeah, there's a couple that have come through that I can see I'll maybe take. So there's quite a lot of questions about scholarships, always a hot topic. So there's a couple of sort of particular schemes I've seen people ask about. So seen a few questions about the Saltire scholarship, which is the Scottish Government scholarship. So those decisions haven't been made yet, and we haven't had all the sort of applications through. So if you applied for that particular scholarship, don't worry if you've not heard. We've not had a chance to look at the applications yet, and we will be doing so shortly, and then the team will notify you whether or not you've been successful. A lot of our scholarships don't require a separate application. So a general rule of thumb is if you've received your offer letter, usually within 4 to 6 weeks after your offer letter, if you've been selected for a scholarship, then you would be notified. If it's been longer than that, then it's sort of fairly soon to assume that you've not been successful. As I say, the scholarships team do look at all the sort of applications as they're made, looking at things like your overall academic score and things as well. But if it's been longer than that sort of 6-week mark, then as I say, unfortunately, I would assume that you've not been successful on this occasion. And don't be disheartened if you've not. They're incredibly competitive and you've already done fantastically to get that offer, but we only have a sort of a smallish amount of scholarships to go around. The other question that I've seen come through a few times is around quarantine if you've been vaccinated. So, excuse me, currently, yes, even if you have been vaccinated, you will be subject to the quarantine or self-isolation rules under your country. So whether that's the red, amber or green listing. I know that's a little frustrating if you've had that double vaccine, but it's certainly our understanding at the moment that you would still be subject to those sort of rules in place by the Scottish Government. If that changes, again, a lot of the information around quarantine, social distancing and things is all sort of continuously changing, and we'll keep that updated on on our web pages and through the Scottish Government pages, which we'd encourage you to talk about, to check regularly. Sorry, I'm laughing. I can see the comments, Jonathan. Someone's offering to get you a beer when they arrive here in September.
I'm up for that. Thank you.
And the last thing as well, I just want to highlight is, again, I can see a couple of people asking about WhatsApp groups for their regions. So again, if you use the Ask a Student tool that we mentioned, the Unibuddies, you can also get in touch with staff, and we have a number of staff in country. So the question that caught my eye is there an Indian WhatsApp group for offer holders? And yes, there is. So if you get in touch with one of our Indian in-country staff through the Ask a Staff route, then we can add you into that group. So you've got the sort of WhatsApp group contacts and help as well.
Fantastic. And just a reminder that whenever you're on a web page for the university and you see a little pink speech bubble pop up in the bottom, that gives you the opportunity to connect directly to a university staff member or current university student so that you can ask questions. And my only other addition was I could see a few points there around people being concerned around timings of what happens over the summer in terms of maybe their own degree certification, if that's running late, what that knock-on effects that may have for applying for their visa. So I would just say, please try to stay calm. We're trying to give as much flexibility as we can. So our academic year will start on the 13th of September, which is actually our sort of induction week. The start of teaching will commence on the 20th of September. And you can actually register on your program once you've met the conditions of your offer and you've accepted that. Then you can actually commence registration for your program, usually during August. I think we're expecting emails to be issued with your Glasgow University ID from the beginning of August throughout the month. So I think postgraduate research applicants, offer holders will get their email at the beginning of August, and I think postgraduate talks around about the 16th of August. So you can commence your registration and enrolment from any point then on in, and you have up until the 11th of October to actually register and enroll. So even if you're not 100% sure when you can get here, please register, please enroll. You can study online until you can. And we're looking at adding as much flexibility onto people's CASs, those that need them, to give you the scope to arrive as soon as it's safe and feasible for you to do so. So hopefully we'll accommodate as much as we can and help manage those anxiety levels for what is, I know, is a challenging time. And we are here to help. So please reach out to us via the contacts on the university website. As I mentioned, the www.glasgow.ac.uk/postgraduate is your jumping off point for lots of information about postgraduate study and research. And you will also see the latest update in that grey coronavirus news alert box at the top that I mentioned, where you can always tune in for the latest information about learning and teaching, any other sort of arrival concerns and updates that we can share with you. So just a last minute or two left, I think. Any sort of parting words from the panel before we sign off?
I saw a question about cycling. Is Glasgow a friendly city for cycling? And certainly it's getting a lot better. I think the pandemic has changed things quite a bit, because Glasgow City Council, there's so many areas that have been now designated cycling areas rather than for cars. So that's a continual work in progress. And also someone asked about counselling, about a psychologist or something like that. One of the questions that skimmed by me there, please contact the counselling service. Just go into the university website and type in counselling, and they'll be able to talk through the support they can offer to you.
Fantastic. Anything else to add, Marky, before we say our farewells? Sorry, put you on the spot.
Anything else for me to add?
Yeah, anything else you wanted to give us a parting word?
Parting word for everyone. Well, I guess my parting word for everybody is just, live your life and take this opportunity and just go out there and do it despite everything that might be going on in the world. So if you want to do this, just take all of these opportunities that are in front of you and this advice and just go for it.
Fantastic. I love that. Shona?
Just to say, I can see there's still loads of questions coming through, so please do get in touch with us after the session. We are running weekly webinars for postgraduate students, as well as you can go through our Ask a Student. You can drop us an email. We know coming to study overseas, or even if you're coming from a different part of the UK or just doing something different from Glasgow, lots of questions, lots to think about. So sorry we've not been able to cover everything today, but get in touch and we'll do our best to help you over the next weeks and months as you firm up your decisions, and hopefully able to welcome you to sunny Glasgow in September.
So on that note, thank you everyone for your interest and enthusiasm to join the Team UofG community here, and we very much hope that you will make it and join our world-changing university at some point in this calendar year. So thank you everyone, all the best, take care and see you soon.